Hi everyone, and welcome to my review of The Art of Statistics by David Spiegelhalter. I know, 15 videos in and I'm only now finally reviewing a maths book. Yes, this is the real me. Nothing happened to me. I haven't been abducted and replaced by aliens. I just finally read a maths book that is really worth talking about. This is quite possibly the most reviewed statistics book on YouTube. At least that's my experience based on notifications, recommendations, and it is how I discovered this book. For those who don't know, I'm a university student studying mathematics. It's a general maths degree, so not just statistics, but I had done a couple of statistics classes, data science, probability, that sort of thing. This book is not necessarily made for the maths or statistics student or professional. This is supposed to be aimed at anybody to educate them on statistics, how data is collected and used and presented, and for better or worse, in good ways and bad, what goes right, what goes wrong, and how we can better understand that data and make true, valid conclusions from it, as opposed to the sort of things that where data is used to mislead us. This book contains a whole heap of tables and graphs and things like that riddled throughout it to help show what is being discussed and show the real data. This book uses a lot of real examples of studies and real data presented throughout to make its points and demonstrate the various principles and techniques that are being discussed. The book also has these helpful summaries at the ends of each chapter to summarize everything that was discussed and learned in the said chapter. Of course, when I made this point, I had to be flicking through a really long chapter to find. So like this, it goes through all the major points of that chapter, which I really like. Although I said that this book is not aimed at anybody who is specifically a student of mathematics or statistics, I do feel like a bit of base knowledge is needed. There are a few things here that are poorly explained, wordily explained. For example, the section on Bayesian analysis, that was explained a bit poorly and confusingly, certainly compared to my prior experience with that, learning it. So I would recommend perhaps first reading, a bit more of an elementary statistics book first to understand a little bit of the concepts. I think you do need a little bit of an interest in maths or statistics specifically in order to pick this up. It was written by statisticians, so I guess maybe things that seemed easy to him that might not be so natural to the average person who does not have a post-school level mathematics education. But aside from that, I do think this is a very useful and powerful book. It certainly helped scrape off a bit of the rust that had settled in since I last did a statistics subject in preparation for statistical science, which is the subject I'll be doing this semester. So I would highly recommend this book for any mathematics and statistics student. There are videos on YouTube going into some of the examples that are used in this book. It uses stuff like a serial killer who was a doctor taking care of lots of elderly patients, and he was drugging them to death, and after he was caught after some 200 victims, the obvious question was asked, could he have been caught simpler? And so we use statistical techniques throughout this book to discover the answer to that question and how it could have been done. There are also examples from politics, for example, the results of the 2017, I think it was, UK national election that a survey conducted right immediately after the election had concluded, but before the results were announced, was able to predict extremely closely what happened with that. And so we find out exactly how that incredible result was accomplished. We also learn what sort of things can go wrong, both in terms of how data can be accidentally misinterpreted or how it can be intentionally used or displayed in a intentionally misleading way to alter the apparent significance of conclusions that are reached, for example, or for some other agenda. There's even a section on the role that computers play and algorithms and even potentially AI could play in statistical analysis. And this was published in, I think, 2017 or 2018. So yeah, before ChatGPT just took over the world, this book sort of explained and predicted a little eerily what kind of a role that sort of thing can play in this field. So what are my thoughts? As I said, it's a good book and I would highly recommend it definitely to anybody who is in the field of mathematics or statistics. It is also good for the average person as well, though like I said, some parts will go over your head perhaps. I mean, as I said, I'm a maths student with some university level statistics education, and there were some parts of it that were just a bit much for me that might require a bit more of a reread or a bit of independent research to just get a better explanation of those concepts. Though it does also have a glossary in the back as well, going through a bunch of terms, including some that weren't really expanded upon much in the text. So if this book sounds interesting to you, but you don't really have the maths background, maybe just brush up a little bit. You don't really have to go in too deep to get a bit of a foothold, just get your foot in the door, I guess, of statistical knowledge, and then pick this up. I think this is a good and powerful statistics book. I can see why it's so highly recommended on YouTube among those who are in maths or math books or statistics. If you liked the video, if you got something valuable from it, please like and subscribe for more books, including potentially more maths books. If you like my book reviews, there'll be a link to the playlist of all of my book reviews down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and as always, do lots of maths, read lots of books, and I'm sure you'll have a statistically significant day.